Yo, it's me, Danchou. Welcome back to the Hideout, you guys. I'm so glad you guys can make it, and I am back with another Danchou Hideout cosign. I am so glad you guys are here back for that, and I'm so glad to even do this. We are here for the spring anime season. Last one was winter, so I know everybody's all like, okay, like, where's the spring one, Danchou? We've been waiting. There's a whole bunch of new anime coming out this spring that we haven't seen you talk about yet. Well, that's because I was getting through a few first episodes, and there was a few of these that I recommended where the first episodes didn't come out till like this week, some last week. So I had to wait a little bit longer because I was really looking forward to some of these, and it had like later debuts. But then some of these I'm bringing up, they're on their like third, fourth episode already. So it's kind of funny, but I just still want to make sure that I get across that these are the ones I think you guys should be watching, whether it be 12 episodes or 24 episodes, you know what I'm saying? And there are some longer running ones that ran from winter into spring that I won't be talking about, ones like Digimon, So I'm a Spider, So What, things that I find very interesting that are really good that I think you should check out, that are just stretching going into the next season. And Back Arrow is another example of that. I don't think Back Arrow is amazing, but I think it's a nice little fun mecha one to watch. But you know, cool stuff like that. And so with the Danchou cosign, I'm just here to talk about this one anime here in spring that I think you guys should check out. And I am glad that you guys are here. But before we get into it, like I always say, if you want to support the channel, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. We are almost close to monetization, everyone. So make sure you let everyone know to come check out Danchou's Hideout and you watch as many videos as you can to add to those watch hours for us, okay? I would love it, love it, love it, love it, love it to hit monetization before July 5th, which is my birthday. So let's see if we can get that done, you guys. Let's see if you could be a part of that, all right? And also, if you want to support the channel directly monetarily, you can follow us on Patreon and subscribe there, or you can go to Coffee and you can just send in whatever donation you want to send, whether it be $5, $2, $1, whatever you guys feel like, instead of doing a monthly subscription like Patreon, and that will always be supported. But like I always say, before we get into the video, intro. So for anyone who has not seen the previous Danchou cosign back for the winter, the way I like to do these is like I like to give between like 3 to 5 anime for must watches, 3 to 5 anime for things I also recommend that aren't things I say you must watch necessarily, but the things I think that you guys should check out if you want something more interesting to add to your list. And then I have the ones that I want to add with our honorable mentions, where I won't be really diving into explaining those or talking about them. I'm just going to list them and be like, go check them out because I think that you should, right? So if we're going to start with the must watches, the first one I want to talk about is To Your Eternity. To Your Eternity is actually a really popular manga, and I do not read the manga. I wanted to get into the manga, but it just didn't get there for me. It's on my list and I just did not get to it yet. And when I heard about the anime, I said, oh, I might as well wait, get through this anime, and then start the manga where the anime ends off at. And the moment this recording, To Your Eternity is only 1 episode out, and I just finished watching that episode about 5 minutes ago because I've been waiting for the episode to drop. And I actually am really interested in this story, and I can't say too much about it because the first episode carries a lot of lore that is used to bring you into the story. So I can't talk too much about exactly what happens in this first episode, but what I will say is that it's a very interesting story about an orb basically coming down to Earth and then absorbing things and learning from these things and basically learning about the world it's in by absorbing it and then trying to mimic it in certain ways and certain degrees, okay? Based on the description I read talking about it on VRV/Crunchyroll, it seems this orb is going to get really far into an evolution stage, and then some really drastic, cruel things are going to happen to it, which I find really interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes from there. But seeing these moments where this orb absorbs this wolf when it comes down on Earth, and then the wolf was injured, and then it kept the injury because all it was doing was mimicking exactly what the wolf was, I found to be really interesting. And I am kind of tiptoeing because I don't want to go too far into what I saw in that first episode, because I do believe that this first episode relied a lot on you going in blind for you to genuinely feel connected to what was going on. So that's why I want to cover To Your Eternity first, because I feel like it's something that I can't even really talk about with the first episode, or like you'll be spoiled and you won't feel as gripped by it. So if you have not seen the To Your Eternity manga, if you have not checked out the manga or even peeped the first episode yet, go and do that. I think you're in for a very, very, very pleasant surprise. And I love stories like this where it seems like an entity not from Earth, or at least not from our world, comes to our world and starts to learn. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. The second anime of this season that I want to recommend is Megalobox Season 2. Okay, so if you have not seen Megalobox the first season, I am going to recommend you go back and watch that first season and then come in and watch season 2. And I'm saying literally right now, go watch those 12 episodes of season 1 so you can get into season 2. This season has been phenomenal so far with only 2 episodes out. I watched the first episode when it aired, watched the second episode when it aired, and I wanted to talk about them already, but I was waiting for more stuff to come out for the Danchou cosign, as I said before. But Megalobox Season 2 is really, really mature. It is really definitely taking the things that I love from the first season and is escalating them, and is really diving deeper into Gearless Joe's character. And I think if you have not seen Megalobox Season 1, you need to skip past everything I'm saying right now and go to the next recommendation, because everything I'm going to talk about pretty much right now is going to spoil things that happen in Megalobox Season 1. So Megalobox Season 1, after Gearless Joe's wins the Megalobox, and you know, it doesn't necessarily go as he thinks it's going to go, and he gets the repercussions of winning. Now we have him living out those repercussions many years later, and him being now the legendary Gearless Joe, but nobody knows who he is, and now he's known as the Nomad, and he isn't even telling anyone who he really is. He's running around, going from different rings, fighting, and he's a drug addict now, all types of different things that is really affecting his character. And it's this strong Hispanic culture mixed with Black, Afro-Latina culture, I would like to say, that's mixing into Megalobox Season 2 a lot, which is what I'm really, really happy to see. And I'm seeing Black characters that look Black, that act like Black people, that are very strong characters, and not even just Black, but they come off kind of Hispanic, so they're more Afro-Latina, type of deal. So I'm really enjoying seeing these characters and seeing these aspects brought in. So if you haven't seen Megalobox Season 1, please go watch Megalobox Season 1 and then come into Megalobox Season 2. And I think you're going to be in for a very, very pleasant surprise. There's so many great things that's going on with this season already. So tune in. The third must watch I want to talk about for the Danchou cosign, you guys, is Vivy. Okay, now in my notes I only wrote down Vivy, and it is a longer title than just Vivy, but it is a new anime by which studio? The same studio did Attack on Titan seasons 1 through 3, and also did Great Pretender. If you know anything about which studio, you know you're going to get something fantastic. Wit Studio is one of my favorite studios now. They weren't one of my favorites prior, but after Great Pretender and now with Vivy, I think I'm going to go ahead and say Wit Studio is one of my favorites, because the way they are coming in with consistency, great storytelling with great animation, all combined in one package, is just fantastic. And Vivy is actually a story that's set in the future where AIs have been created in robots, almost on some iRobot type shit, right? And so these AIs actually have now gained their own identity. It's the same fear of Terminator, where the AIs figure out, oh, you humans, aren't really best for the planet or what's best for us, so we need to kill you guys and now take over everything. And that's pretty much what Vivy is about. But what makes it very interesting is that a human doctor in this time period in the future where the AIs are killing everyone sets up an AI that can be sent to the past. And he sets up an AI that can be sent to the past so that it can go to the past and fix the things that happened leading up to the AIs wanting to take over everything. It literally is like on some Terminator type deal, right? But the way that Wit Studio is mixing the story and is turning it into a focus on Vivy and Vivy's personification, Vivy's thoughts of what it is to be a robot with heart, you know what I'm saying? Vivy wanting to understand what it means to help humans and not let humans die. And the dichotomy between her and the AI that got sent to the past is fantastic, because they don't just get along. Because the AI that got sent to the past has a very stoic, serious outlook on things getting done, while also having a bigger personality than Vivy, who comes off as a straight AI who has a very strict speech pattern. So it's very interesting seeing these two characters clash, and seeing these two characters who are very alike in ways, but then also very different in ways, clash in their ideals and how they think things should be handled. And this AI comes to the past because he was specifically told to go after Vivy, so that Vivy, whose real name is Diva, so that she can help him do what needs to be done to fix things. So you should check it out. The first 2 episodes aired at the same time, and it was so good, it blew my mind. If you love stuff like that, Vivy is your bag. Wit Studio is your bag. Go check it out. Last and most certainly not least on my list of must watches is Pretty Boys Detective Club. Pretty Boys Detective Club is something that I heard was a manga as well that was brand new to me, and I have not seen anything about it. But I watched that first episode and I fell in love with every single character I've seen. The Pretty Boys are really interesting and they look really cool, and for some reason the designs remind me of Pokemon. I don't know why, maybe because of the colors that attach to them, but the designs really remind me of Pokemon for some reason. But they are really handsome characters and they look really cool, and they have really interesting personalities. And how the Pretty Boy Detective Club is set up, to me, I find very interesting. It kind of reminds me of Ouran High School Club a smidge. Not a lot, but just a smidge in the way certain things have been done. But we know Ouran is a little different, right? You know, it's a whole host club, you know. But then the next thing that made it so interesting was the female character that is involved with them. I find her very interesting in the way that she carries herself and the way she attacks and comes at the pretty boys, basically pointing out the fact that they may think that they're better than people or privileged because of what they look like. And the responses that she gets to that is amazing. And I really am just excited to see where this goes. The animation looks beautiful. It feels like a really unique story being told here. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. Basically, the premise is that this young girl, she goes to this detective club where she runs into one of the members of the detective club. And he says to her, I can tell you're looking for something, you need some help. Let us help you out. And she basically agrees to that. And when she tells them what she wants to help with, it goes into this whole deep description of this girl and who she is and how she feels and what she's been through. And I'm wondering if we're going to deal with this same girl throughout the whole series while she's helping them with different cases, or will we just introduce to this girl so that she could be the beginning of introducing us to the boys club. I don't know, it depends. And I think episode 2 is out, so when I watch episode 2, I guess I'll get more on what exactly is going on with that. But I am so excited for Pretty Boys Detective Club. I didn't think I'd be excited for an anime with that name, but I am. So I think all of you guys should check it out. It is really unique, and I think that's the theme for this season, is really unique out there anime. So check it out. So I ran through all of the anime that I think you guys must watch that are coming out this season, all right? The ones that I watched and I'm like, okay, yeah, I love these. I'm definitely gonna peep these. I can't miss these weekly, right? The next ones I wanna talk about are things I just also recommend. Well, I'm not gonna talk much about these at all. I'm pretty just gonna list them off and say why I think that I recommend them and why I think you should check these out, right? So the first one I wanna talk about is Super Cub. And the reason why I wanna say Super Cub is something that you should check out and that I also recommend is because it's very unique, again, in my opinion, of the slice of life type of aspect, where it's about this young girl who has no family, has no friends, and lives the same routine life every day. And the anime is done entirely like in grayish colors, very neutral gray colors. But when the moments when this girl feels like she feels happy and she feels like she can stand up for herself, she feels like that she's really confident, all of a sudden the anime becomes very vibrant. The colors become poppy. Everything looks like just pops out at you, you know, sparkles, you know, just, and I just find that a very unique device being used by the animators to let you know how she's feeling in these moments. And I'll be 100% honest, episode 2 yesterday made me cry at the end, not out of sadness, but out of joy, just for seeing this girl becoming more, seeing her starting to find out what makes her happy in her life. She didn't have anything that made her happy. And seeing her find happiness just because she got a motorbike now and can ride to school, and now has figured out that in her motorbike, she can just go other places and try to explore the area that she's always lived in, but just never was been able to check out, is raising feelings in me that I didn't think it'd raise. And I think everyone should definitely check that out. The next one is 86. 86 is something a lot of people were recommending to me. It is a mech-based anime, and it is not like Gundam type of mech. It's more so, they're more four-legged spider-like mechs they're using to fight with. And it seems like this is one that is very emotional, based around character relationships and character deaths. And what makes 86 interesting to me is that it's based in war, and it seems like the dynamics is going to be between a group led by a dude named Undertaker who fights for the military, and this military group, they're not considered humans, but they are humans. Their dynamic versus their handler, who has been known to be like an overcaring handler. But apparently, handlers who deal with this group kill themselves or get killed every time they deal with this group. So it's this very interesting thing here. And the first episode just showed us the handler and showed us the group. And episode 2 is now going to show us the beginning of them mingling. So I'm really excited for episode 2. Me recording this episode 2 is out, and I'm going to be checking that out soon. So I just want you guys to know that I think you guys should check out 86. It is very interesting. I think it's going to be very deep, but we'll see. I don't know yet. The first episode gave me a lot, but didn't give me quite enough. The next thing I'm going for is Shaman King. Shaman King is fantastic. I know people who know me well are probably wondering, why didn't you put Shaman King in the must-watches, Danchou? You love Shaman King. The reason why I didn't put Shaman King in the must-watches is because I don't know if this Shaman King adaptation is going to be faithful entirely to the manga, nor do I know if it's going to be as great as I would hope it to be. But I just watched episode 3, and I'm not going to lie, it does kind of feel like it's going to be really, 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 really good. So I could be wrong. I probably should have put it on the must watches, but I definitely think that Shaman King is something that you guys should check out. And what Shaman King is about is basically about this young man named Yo. He's really like 11, 12 years old, who wants to become the Shaman King. He was raised a shaman, someone who can connect to death. I'm not deaths, but to ghosts, and connect to the other side. And so pretty much he wants to become the Shaman King, the ruler of all shamans, aka God. That's pretty much the best way I can explain it. And it'll pretty much spoil you talking about anything else. So go ahead and watch those few episodes if you haven't seen Shaman King. It's fantastic. The next one on my also recommend is Shadow's House. I recommend Shadow's House because Shadow's House is about a doll who is in a house controlled by shadows. The personification of this doll on top of just seeing the shadows and how they run the house is probably one of the most interesting things I've seen recently. The reason why I did not put this on a must watch is because I don't know where it's going to go from here. I think it's going to be amazing, but I only put it on the I also recommend because it didn't get me as excited as To Your Eternity, Megalobox, Vivy, and Pretty Boy Detective Club. But I feel like once I watch episode 2 and on, Shadow's House is going to be just fantastic, and I'm so interested in everything already going on. I just am more interested in the ones I mentioned before with must watches. I'm a lot more interested. But I think Shadow House is going to pull me in very soon, and I love shadows and like shadow powers. So I'm pretty sure eventually it's going to pull me in, and I'm going to be in absolute love with it. So boom. So yeah, that is my must watches and the ones I also recommend you guys. I hope you guys like those. So really quickly, I'm going to mention some honorable mentions that I think you guys should check out. The first one is Yasuke, which is that Black Samurai anime coming to Netflix. That is not out yet. That is out April 23rd. April 23rd is coming up around the corner. So when it comes out, if it drops all at once or if it drops like individual episodes weekly, I'm going to cover it regardless. If it drops all at once, I'm for sure probably going to do episode by episode reviews and probably not go through the entire series and then do one video. I might do episode by episode so that I can dive into what exactly makes each thing about Yasuke great. I'm not sure, but we'll talk about more of that later. Then we got Moshiro no Oto. Moshiro no Oto is basically about this young man who plays a special instrument, and that instrument is what made him and his grandfather so connected to each other. Then his grandfather passes away, and his grandfather told him before he dies, because he wasn't practicing the instrument the way he should stop practice. He should stop playing it when he dies. And that kind of fucks with this kid. But seeing him now come out of that, he's going to go travel the world so that go Japan so he can try to come out of that phase. And it's very interesting so far. Only seen episode 1 and I think it's amazing, but I think there's 4 episodes out total. And then Tokyo Revengers. I have not watched the episodes of Tokyo Revengers yet, but I am current on the manga and I love the manga. I think the manga is very well. So if the anime does a good job with the adaptation, which I'm hearing that it's been doing so far, I think Tokyo Revengers is going to be absolutely fantastic. So you guys should definitely go check that out. And that's pretty much it for all my honorable mentions. I'm not going to tell you what Tokyo Revengers is about if you haven't seen it, because you need to go just watch it, because you will be spoiled if I talk about it. It's a delinquent manga. Just go check that out, okay? But that is all I have for the honorable mentions. And I hope you guys liked everything I talked about, from must watches all the way to the honorable mentions, okay? If there's some things that you think I should have brought up that's out this season, mention it, please. Please. Maybe I'm watching it. Maybe I'm not. Let's talk about it, okay? If you guys think that any of these I mentioned are not as that good and that you want to warn everybody before they get into it, do that in the comments as well and let me know. Warn me too. Maybe I'm getting into something I shouldn't be getting into. I'll probably still watch it so I can properly critique for myself or properly analyze for myself. But you know how that goes, okay, you guys? And like I always say, if you guys want to contact me, you can always join the Danchou's Hideout Discord or you can join me on Twitter, okay? And the links for that is always down below in the description, okay, you guys? But thank you guys so much for coming to the Danchou Hideout cosign for spring. Hope you guys like the anime that I brought up, and I hope you guys check those out, all right? But it's me, Danchou. Glad to see you. Peace.
Young noise.